Okay, so here we are with update number 3, I believe, on my 90-gallon system. And as you can see from my previous updates, and for those of you who have seen my newly set up 30-gallon nano system, this setup has changed drastically. Basically, I have taken all of the corals that were in this 90-gallon system and transferred them over to the 30-gallon tank. There was only a couple of corals that were missing for me to transfer over, and that was the bubble coral, the frog span, and all that stuff is in the 30-gallon tank. And I will be doing an update on that 30, so I could show you the tank fully stocked with the new corals. But as you can see, I had to take 2 pieces of rock from the 90-gallon system and transfer them over to the 30, and I had to basically re-aquascape the aquarium. And so I've taken the remaining pieces of live rock and I've stacked them up in this manner. And I think it looks awesome, and I may or may not add more rock to the system. I don't really know. It did cause a couple of problems. For example, because there's not that much of a rock work, and because there's not much of caves anymore and hiding places, the 2 black and white clowns began to attack the male clown, the Ocellaris clown. And because of that, unfortunately, this guy is in the same situation as Nike was, and you can see he's in the sump, and he likes to hang out near the pump. And it's just, it's sad, because I gotta figure out a way to sort of get these clowns to get along. I've also taken 3 fishes from this system and put them on the 30 gallons, so I'm gonna be doing a video about that. I've taken the flame angel, the coral beauty, and the fairy rats, the pink and red fairy rats. They're in the 30-gallon system. I don't know if I'm gonna keep them there. If I decide to keep those fishes in the 30-gallon, I'm gonna be replacing those same fishes in this tank, because I can't, especially the flame angel. That's my favorite saltwater fish, you know, so there's no way that I'm gonna actually be without a flame angel. Now, the rock work, I've only got 2 little corals left, and that's these acans here. And for the rock work, what I did was that I took this big piece up here, and before I start, I just want to say that I aquascaped the tank in a way that it's going to be beneficial for me to fill this entire 90-gallon tank with SPSs. So I've done a lot of wall structures here, sort of like a flat wall on the top here, so that I can fill it up with SPSs and some LPSs down at the bottom. I've also taken into consideration when aquascaping the tank that I wanted to have some nice caves that were easy for me to kind of look into, so that I can add some sponges and some of those animals that really don't require light. So this huge piece of rock here, I've kind of added it and positioned it in a way that it's secure, but there's a huge big undercave here, and I think that that would be a perfect area to put a nice big non-photosynthetic sponge in there, you know, red, orange, whatever the color may be. And I've got a huge underpath in this area. The fishes kind of like to swing under it, and I've also got a huge underpass on this area too. Now, the only area that looks sort of cluttered is the front here, but keep in mind that this piece of rock here in the center is actually about 5 inches away from the back of the overflow box. So there's plenty, as you can see there, the hippo tank kind of swam behind that rock, so there's plenty of space. Let's look at the tank from the sides here. I also want to try to get rid of this anemone here, this carpet, and because I'm gonna have full SPSs. So you can see here that there's plenty of space for them to go under the rock and behind the rock work. And this is pretty much what the tank looks like from the side view. Let's go over to the other side of the tank and kind of show you. See that rock work there? They have that underpass. And kind of show you here on this side, got the same situation going on this side. It's got plenty of at least swimming space, considering the fact that some of these fishes are really large. Oh, and I've discovered that there is some sort of a chili coral here growing on this rock. I never added it, and there's another piece of it there. But because this area was behind the tank, you know, chili corals don't require that much of a light source. But as you can see, you know, after almost 3 years of having this system, it still doesn't cease to amaze me that I find new life on a daily basis. You know, it'll probably be a couple of years and I'll still find more life. Now, aside from that, I also discussed that I was going to be removing the Caulerpa prolifera, and I did that about 2 weeks ago. Slowly I've been doing it, and if you remember correctly from my previous videos, this Chaetomorpha, which by the way I've seen a lot of videos online, and I've heard a lot of people refer to it as Cheeto. Look it up online. If not, look it up on the dictionary. It's actually pronounced Kato, as in K-A-E, and then as in toe, like Kato. But I just wanted to throw that in there. I'm not trying to be a smart ass, people, so don't hate me, but it's actually called Chaetomorpha. But I had the Chaetomorpha, there was about half of it filled in the refugium last week and a half or so. I've since decided that I wanted to leave the lights on for 24 hours. And I've done that for a week, and I can tell you that this Chaetomorpha just ridiculously grew to the point that I'm going to have to start pruning it. And this is when this algae becomes a filter, in a sense that the more you remove it, you know, the more you prune it, the more nutrients you're taking out of the tank, and the more space it will be for this algae to continue to grow, and you're going to be battling nutrients. Now, I will be doing a video on wet dry versus refugium. I don't really understand why people still use a wet dry system when there are so many more benefits of having a refugium. But that's going to be a discussion that will be handled at a later date. But aside from that, stay tuned for future updates on this tank here. I have to replace the bulbs. The bulbs are about a year and change old. I'm going to go with some nice 10,000 Ks, probably XM, which are really high in par output and lumens. And for the actinics, I'm going to get rid of the true 03 actinics, and I'm going to be replacing them with 420, 460 actinics, which give you more of a blue side of the spectrum, sort of like the T5s I have on the 30 gallon, and it's going to give me more of a blue look. Although I'm not, you know, it's not a yellow look that I have in the system now, but instead of going 14K, I'm going to stay with 10K and instead add bluer actinics to sort of get that 14K look. With that said, this is NewYorkSteelo with another update. Stay tuned for future videos. If you like my videos, guys, subscribe. And with that said, this is NewYorkSteelo signing out. Peace.